Okay, and we're back for video number 2. I apologize for I think the other upload that I did before didn't work and the link, so but we're just redoing everything, so apologize for that. So let's see, diving right into this, we're going to be going through the tactics that really you're going to need to take in order to start generating some traffic and leads. So we're going to be focusing on this website. I appreciate the full I guess additional information you gave me, so that's great. So the main things that you're going to want to keep in mind that are germane to like this video from last video are this idea of domain authority and keyword difficulty. Okay, these are kind of at the fundamental foundational level of what this type of marketing entails. So there's two types right there. You could either buy traffic, which is you could run Google ads, Facebook ads. Every single platform has an ad platform, so you just buy the traffic. And then the other kind of traffic is earned traffic, or what people would know as search engine optimization, getting your website to naturally appear. So in order to do that type of marketing, you need to really have some factors, kind of some understanding of some factors like domain authority and keyword difficulty. So if we look at your site right now, I mean, this site is brand new. So, if we plug this in, I don't know, this tool was giving me a problem when I was trying to record before. So for the other website, it's about a 15 domain authority. I would guess with this new website, it's going to be probably 0 since it's just brand new. If you take a look at how long it's been around. So the main thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to go after keywords that are on the lower spectrum of difficulty. So every single word or query on the internet, whether it is a keyword or a question, has a couple of components to it. It has the term or the query, then it has the volume, how many people actually search for it, put in that term. And this is an average of 12 months. Then you have difficulty. Difficulty is rated based on whoever is on the first page for that result, today. So that gives you a competitive score. If you were to go ahead and buy traffic, the average cost per click is about $5. So for example, if you wanted to show up for people that are looking for small business coach, which there's 350, you could either buy it where it's going to cost you $5 every time somebody sees your ad, clicks on it, and goes to your website. Or you could choose to try to optimize your site for that keyword, which in that case you'd want to go ahead and make like a dedicated page, and also write some content. So here we have some key content components. Like I mentioned in my first video, the They Ask You Answer Method by Marcus Sheridan. If you haven't read that book, I would recommend it. It really goes through this method and is really the way the algorithm is set up today. Most every single platform out there, whether it is from Google to like TikTok just emerging, it's all about how much content you publish. Okay, whether it's video content, written content, image content, what you feed into every single one of these platforms is how you're able to build an audience. Okay, so when it comes to trying to get traffic, commercial-based traffic that turns into people that are looking for your help, the first mistake that people do is they try to look at, okay, let's go after the word that gets the most traffic. If you're buying traffic, that's a good strategy because you're going to get a lot of traffic, but also your budget, it's going to be dependent on how much you could buy. In terms of earning the traffic over time, a deep understanding of keyword difficulty key is going to be one of the main components, because if it's a 47 out of 100 to try to rank on that page, and the numbers start from 0 to 100, so your website would need to have a minimum domain authority of about 47 in order for Google to consider it to be rankable for that. So that's the reason why I tell a lot of clients, look, you want to try to find, the low-lying fruit, the easiest kind of path to entry. And in your example, it would be terms like business coach Los Angeles, business development coach. Even though I know you said you're not in Los Angeles, you're like out of, I think in your brief here you gave me Santa Rosa, right? But I think today in, not only the post-pandemic and also in where we're going to a hybrid, I truly believe that that's going to stay here. I mean, I think the genie's been let out the bottle. You could do as much work from anywhere you want in the world as you can from going into an office. So I think the main point here is understanding the words that people are searching. So if you look at another term like business coaching, business leadership coaching, right? Obviously, there's a difference in the volume, right? And that's simple economics, right? Supply and demand. The more demand there is for anything, in this case, people searching, it's going to be much more competitive. It's gonna take a lot more work. So if you look at something like business leadership coaching, there's roughly about 80 people a month. Now it's only a 4 keyword difficulty, so that's a pretty easy keyword. It's not going to take you 12 months to come on to the first page for this keyword, whereas these words generally take about 6 to 12 months for you to build enough content, okay, that is targeting this word, and that then Google recognizes you as a resource, an expert and an authority in, the niche of, in this term of business coaching. So, and that's not to say that you cannot go after this word. You can. I would recommend you try, but I would say that the expectations there are that it's going to take 6 to 12, sometimes even 24 months. And I'll show you some case studies of clients where we've done that. And that's based on, the 20 years that I've been doing this. When I started doing this in the beginning, I mean, you could get somebody on the first page. I think the fastest I ever did it was in 15 minutes. But back then, there wasn't the demand that there is today. So the competitiveness was less, but the demand was lower, right? Because people were still in an offline brick and mortar world. So now that everything is online, everybody's walking around with essentially kind of like the power of a laptop in their pocket. Everything is online. You're able to search within seconds. So if we look at very specific words like entrepreneur coach, this one is, I would highlight this in yellow. This is not extremely competitive, but it is not an easy keyword. So, but it's very, very targeted if you want to go after entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur coaching does seem to be kind of competitive. Startup coach. This one I would classify as not a competitive keyword. It's kind of on the medium scale. And then I tried every single one of these words. There really wasn't any volume specifically for it that satisfied the intent. Usually with words like this where we don't find any data, I would say probably it's good to mount a paid campaign and test these words to see if people actually, search for them. Like this one right here, we did find some people searching for this. This is actually an easy word. There's 60 people a month on average, and it's a 6 keyword difficulty, meaning it's pretty easy to show up on the first page for this. And And what you want to do is when you identify a keyword, like if we look at also some of your competitors, we did find some words that they were using, like founder coaching. This is actually considered kind of like an easy word. You could see also, 40 people a month search for it. Therapy for business owners, 40 people a month, 5 keyword difficulty. So it's pretty easy. Those are going to be some words you could take away from the competitors. This other competitor, let's see, we found more generic based keywords, therapist, San Francisco, psychologist. If you look, therapist, kind of more generic, not necessarily focused on, the niche that you're going after. So, but they're here, so you could kind of take a look at them. And, I think that'll give you an idea of what type of words you want to focus on, because that's really the first thing to do, is to identify the words. Once you identify the words that are having some demand, this third competitor seems like they do a lot of couple marriage counseling. So that seems to be what their main kind of work environment based keywords. So they didn't really pluck any from there. But I would say if you wanted to, this would be a good list to get started with. These seem to hit the mark on what you're going after. So what you would do is you would, let's see if I could find a good one that has some volume. So business coach development, it's like about an 80. Business leadership coaching. Okay, that's about an 82. That's pretty easy. Entrepreneur coach. I'll probably start with this one, business leadership coaching. This one has kind of a good mix of, 80 people a month searching for it. There's demand, and it's very, very easy. It's about a 4. So what you'd want to do with your website, you have over here counseling and therapy for entrepreneurs in California. You'd want to do what's called front loading the keyword, where you take the keyword and put it at the beginning of what's called the title tag. So business and case capitalization, leadership coaching. Okay. And you then would also put it in the description. Usually I do something like looking for business leadership coaching, and that tends to kind of touch on the keyword. So the main thing is to have the keyword both in your title and in your description. If possible, you could make a dedicated page called Business Leadership Coaching on your website. That would then give you 3 factors of trying to rank for that word. So let's see if we could try to get this thing to work. I think it has something to do with my internet today for some reason. Okay, so if you see right here, the reason why this becomes an easy word is because it doesn't take a lot of websites to link back to you. Content is a main ranking factor, but also the websites to link back to you. If we look at the people that are here on the first page, you're going to see, this right here, Ken, he's actually here on the first page with a 6 domain authority. You also have impact business coaches. They're also on here with a number 2 domain authority. So, and also when you look at how many links, so this right here lets us know how many domain links are pointing to that page. So 9, 1 person has a 75, that's HubSpot. But not a lot of websites linking to these pages. So that's what makes, in terms of the algorithm looking at this result, an easy result. Okay. If we look at something like business coaching, right? Let's try to bring that one up. We'll notice that it'll be kind of different. They're doing maintenance right now. This is not a good time for them to be doing this. All right, so it would be way more difficult to see that. Okay, so I'll show you some examples of this, right? So if we look at a client, this was a hard keyword, and essentially we said, okay, in order to go after this word, we're going to need to write content and do link building. Okay, now I know you gave me a budget of about $300. The budget really doesn't matter. I mean, what you need to kind of do in terms of what the process is, it basically comes down to these main components. Is number one, doing the keyword research, which is what we're doing here right now. Number two, making sure that those keywords are placed on the website, like I just mentioned here. If you want, we also offer that as a service. And then content marketing and link building. This is really what the ongoing month-to-month SEO is all about. There is also website conversion rate optimization, kind of having some sort of offer, some sort of lead magnet where people are, you kind of offer people some kind of something to make them want to provide some information to you. I guess to use like industry jargon, I mean, it's basically a lead magnet, a bribe, something that's going to get somebody to opt in, whether it is a checklist, some resource, some guide, something that's going to get somebody to kind of say, okay, I'm interested in learning more. I'll give you my name, my number, and my email. And then at that point, you're able to market to them. So that's basically how online marketing works. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and add a blog to your website, because unless you're feeding, blog content to the search engines, then you're really not, it's basically you just have a static site. Once you build the site, it's static. Google does crawl it. Like right now we could see sites. Google has crawled this site already, so they already know that you have like about 6 pages, and pretty much it's in their index. So whenever somebody wants to search for it by your name, you're going to come up. So if you want to come up for topics or keyword specific searches, that's where your content comes into play. And we could see this with, some of your competitors. So like, for example, if you take a look at this competitor here, right? He has this blog post here, or if you take a look at the keyword that we're looking at before, right? Business leadership coaching, right? All of these pages that are here, let's take a look at the person that's number one. This is a blog, right? And a blog really in today's online ecosystem is what you would call like a pre-sale page. Okay, it's kind of like an advertorial. It's half informational, but then half of it needs to also be able to convert people into letting them know that you are a solution for what they're looking for. Because if they're typing in leadership and trying to figure out, they're in the sales process of trying to learn about this, once they come to your website, you need to let them know that you're the solution to the problem that they're hunting for. So if you look at every single one of these, even Harvard Business, it's a blog post that's showing up over here, right? So if we try to look at the coaches, so this is a coach, right? Boom, immediately they have the lead magnet, okay, which is get a free ebook when you sign up for our weekly dose of fulfillment at work. So, you know, you can see that that took literally a second for it to pop up, right? And then at that point, then it's how to form a relationship with whoever comes to your website. So then you see, you know, within the content, there's also the keywords sprinkled within here. So executive coach, leadership coach, which are all part of this keyword that he's targeting, right? Leadership coaching. So these are all ranking signals within the content that is letting the search algorithms understand that this content is meant to identify with that, you know, and even makes the title of this article business leadership coaching, right? So so that kind of shows you the mechanics of how it works. And this basically is all a blog. So he has free articles, coaching expertise. He has his program here. So you're able to kind of figure out where, you know, his newsletter. He also has a YouTube. And then boom, right here, he has a call to action on how to hire him. So that's how you want to kind of craft the content to where, and then it sends you over to, just so this one, call him right back. All right. So, basically, you want to make sure that within your content, you have all of the keywords that you're trying to go after. And you can see over here, executive coaching, coaching programs. You know, these are all keywords that this site is trying to rank for. So, so hopefully that's a key to understanding that. Next step would be to, once you kind of added all the keywords to your website, and once you kind of start writing content, you want to make sure that you have whatever your budget is. So if you have like $300, right, you have $150 goes towards content. And I mean, it depends if you're actually writing the content, then you save on that. But definitely you want to go ahead and also be building what's called a link building campaign. And that's essentially what links are. They're basically citations or digital endorsements for your website. Okay. So I'll give you an example. So this client, RXable, they wanted to rank for this term, eyeglass lens replacement. And we wrote, you know, a lot of content around this term, kind of all the different, you know, where can I send my glasses to get replaced? Found all of the main questions that people ask. Okay. And I think we gave you that. We're giving you that in our topics here, but it's also very easy once you identify a keyword to simply go to Google, and find out, okay, what are the questions that people are asking? These are the questions. What is a business leadership coach? So this would be a topic that you'd want to go ahead and see right here. What is business coaching? Why coaching is important in business. So every one of these would be kind of a topic that you would want to write about. In general, you want to make them somewhere around 1,000 words. And they need to be kind of structured in the manner that we're showing you here, where they have the keywords sprinkled throughout. I'll show you a really, really kind of well optimized example with another client that we're working with. So they're in the Ray-Ban space. And here we've done a graph kind of comparing them to all of the competitors in online. and pretty long base content. We have keywords here in terms of all the different models. We've identified how people search for them either by the name or the model number. And then we've also, this would be what would be your call to action. When people click on this, it gets sent directly to a product page. So in your example, it would be where you you kind of do something similar to this, where you're letting them know, okay, you know, you're educating them, and then you're sprinkling the words, and then you're putting a call to action in there. So you have to ask for the sale, right? So if you look at some of the content here, link, click here, takes you here to, okay, docs.me, okay. All right, so we're freeing Ocean Online Therapy. So I guess the main question would be like, okay, how do I sign up? Enjoy the waiting room. Use Firefox. Access my online therapy. About what to expect. Okay, so I guess there needs to be an offer crafted over here where, I mean, you are explaining everything. Once you reach your goal, call or email me for a free 20-minute. So that should be some sort of graphic that is kind of placed. So like in our example here, we've actually have a coupon that we have 30% off. And when people click on this, let's get on this one. There's a pop-up on here that shows up. So there should be some sort of offer where you show them, okay, get a free 20-minute consultation. Maybe you could use something like Calendly where they're able to book that time so that they're just not calling you randomly throughout the day. And then that way then you could schedule that time. So that would be something that I would have your graphics person work on. And then the blog, that definitely needs to get added. And then I would say, if possible, what we've seen is that once you get to about 100 articles on your website, then you have shown the algorithm that you have a domain knowledge on whatever the subject is. So if you have 100 articles on, you know, business coaching, entrepreneurship coaching, entrepreneurship therapy, development, you know, all of those different questions, then you're able to then build up some authority within that, and Google will reward you with ranking you for those words, but making sure that those words are sprinkled within the articles. So I would say if you wanted to, there's a couple of ways for you to scale the content. You could either hire content writers that have some domain knowledge. That would be one way. Another way would be like if you're trying to do this yourself, there's a tool that is called Jasper. And essentially, it's an AI-based tool that helps you write content more efficiently. It's definitely not just put in a subject and press a button, it's going to write all your content. You do need to have somebody behind it writing it and checking it for grammar errors, but it is going to speed up your process. You could basically write 8,000-word article like in about 30 minutes. So depending on how prolific you are in terms of writing, this would be a really good alternative. I can tell you that everyone throughout every facet of marketing and online promotion is using this or a similar tool like this. So then the next step would be to have some form of link building campaign. So for that, I would recommend the Hoff. They're free to set up an account, and they even have kind of self-managed PPC SEO campaign. where they will give you a manager and you will be able to go ahead and have them just manage the campaign for you in terms of what would be the best kind of link building campaign for you. So I would say this probably would be a good option for you. So you could tell them what your budget is and they'll craft a campaign in terms of either guest post, foundational links, content, or even syndication. So in my template here, what I give you is, this is usually what we recommend to clients. It's getting a guest post. A guest post is just another word for a backlink. Syndicating a piece of content, syndicating it through other kind of news-based websites, and then some foundational links that target specific keywords. So this tends to be like about $400. So I would say if you wanted to, this would probably be the biggest bang for your buck. $99 for syndication of content. And you do need to have a blog post set up, and they're going to syndicate you to about 300 different news-based sites. So it is going to generate a lot of good backlinks, and really for $99, it's one of the best kind of deals on link building from a trusted company. So hopefully that makes sense. I've also included here a content calendar and how we kind of lay out the content. Usually we pick the topic and then make sure that the keyword is going to be somewhere within that paragraph, like I showed you before. And I would say if you could do, 10 pieces of content a month, the whole idea is for it to be consistent. If you're going to do 3, if you're going to do 4, if you're going to do even 1, it needs to be consistent every month in order for it to actually kind of generate some sort of momentum. So in this example, I'll show you, this was a client that came to us, our Expo, and within a matter of 6 months, we kind of built them to like about 1,000 people searching for coming to their website. After about 12 months, and this is an e-commerce, we were like at about 1,000, and then we hit about 120 pieces of content at that point. And then that's when really the traffic started compounding. So, I always try to tell clients, look, it's going to take 12 to 24 months to really build an online business. And that's what I see over and over again. When I'm working with clients, I'm working on projects of my own. Here's another example of a client in the UK. They're a very competitive car finance space. And, 6 months in, 1,000, then a year afterwards, all of the content was kind of written. We got to like about 120 pieces of content. And then, their traffic started growing exponentially. And, they're now at about 16,000 people a month. Here's an example of a client that had lost all their traffic. And they came to us and we said, okay, basically you were doing a lot of things that were wrong. So we need to optimize the sites, write content, build backlinks. And now they're starting to get, within 6 months to 1,000. This is their back end. You can see they bring in sales, every single day. Eyeglasses 1, 2, 3. So for our other client, our Expo, we grew their traffic by 10x and their sales by 1,000%. So that's in general what you see. Here's a client in Australia we worked with. We're working with like a little bit about 6 months. You could see really kind of within the first couple of months, we're writing content, and then somewhere around the 6th month, it starts taking off. And right now they're about 300. So every market is different. So, based on the words that you choose, and as long as you're using that method of answering questions that your target audience is searching for, which it seems like you have a good grasp on that, then the link building is probably the next step that you really need to kind of, I would say, hire somebody to kind of do. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to maybe even jump on the phone and kind of go through anything that wasn't specifically talked about. But main things would be like start with some of these like lower keywords to start getting, you know, on the first page pretty early. And then after that, gradually start working your way to the harder keywords. And that would be the way to kind of, you know, scale. That's basically how we do this scaling. And it is 12 to 24 months. So you might think of maybe you need to buy some sort of traffic in the beginning. I know there's a lot of new platforms out there where you could kind of put yourself on, you know, like I am out here on Fiverr. I mean, I think it's a great way, even though you share some of your revenue with the platforms, these platforms spend millions on advertising. So if you're able to leverage them while you build this up, that's a good kind of strategy. And then eventually, you know, within 12 to 24 months, you should have a pretty healthy source of traffic. So, all right. So hopefully that helps, Sunny. I really appreciate your interest in our help, and hopefully we've been able to kind of demystify a lot of the stuff that seems to be really, it's just a process like anything else. So thanks so much. And in the next video, I'll show you some other case studies. So let's check that out.